The interview, it didn't go so well.
We hope, we pray for better days.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is another video. So as we know, as I've mentioned earlier, this channel, it's also a little bit about me. It's a little bit about what in life has led me to this point, the reason why I kind of got into crypto, the reason why I made this channel in the first place. It's just because I think it might be interesting to some people. I want to share my story. It's for myself. It's for lots of reasons, so hopefully you'll enjoy. The whole purpose of this video is, why did I go to Leeds University and why did I enjoy it so much, and why I suppose that if I could encourage anybody out there who's watching this video to go there, I 110% would. And if I could go back and do it all again, I think I would go to Leeds University. So stay tuned and you'll find out why. Okay, so Leeds, why in the world did I go to Leeds? So I don't know if you can tell from the accent, but originally I'm from Northern Ireland. So that's just a short trip across the water, not very far from here. Not very much known about Leeds over there. It's not really, I mean, it's a big city, but it's not really your London or your Birmingham or Manchester or anything like that. A lot of my friends, they went to Liverpool. I don't know why. There seems to be a big, you know, kind of group of a lot of Irish people when you go there, a big Irish community. Maybe it's just because it's the first place off the boat. I don't know, the first place off the boat in terms of geography when you set sail from Northern Ireland. I don't really know, I can't say. A lot of them seem to go to Scotland as well, but certainly not any of them to Leeds, not on my school anyway. The reason for that is, well, it's kind of a long story. So I basically applied to 4 universities. I applied to Glasgow, Newcastle, Leeds of course, and then as well as that, Queen's University in Belfast. So the 3 that I just mentioned, the 3 aside from Queen's University in Belfast, they were for the main course that I wanted to do, and then the other course that I was thinking about doing physics as well. I applied to Queen's University in Belfast just because, well, it was just my backup essentially. So the reason that I applied to Leeds was for the course that I wanted to do required something called the UK CAT test. So it's an additional aptitude test, I suppose, that is necessary to be able to be considered for these courses at certain universities. Leeds University, the reason I applied to it, hand to my heart, truth be told, is because they didn't want this test and they were the only university for my course which didn't want this test. So I thought, okay, I'll hedge my bets. If this thing doesn't go so well, at least I've got somewhere else to go. That's not the reason why I ended up there in the end, but that was the original reason why I put it down. And I think, from memory, hand on my heart, I can't quite recall, but I'm pretty sure it was the only university who did the course that I wanted with, you know, that didn't need this test. So yeah, anyway, so what happened was I applied to Glasgow, I applied to Newcastle of course, as I've just mentioned. I went for an interview in Newcastle. The interview, it didn't go so well. It was my first interview. I didn't really know what to expect. I definitely could have prepared more. I guess in my 17, 18-year-old mind, I just thought that it would be easy. That was a foolish thing to think. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, that's what I did think. So yeah, I mean, it was completely my own fault. Didn't really go that well. Didn't get an offer back from them. That's fine. We deal with it. We move forward. So Glasgow, went to Glasgow University, and I upped my game big time. Absolutely upped my game. I read. I studied loads. I looked into what was needed. You know, what was expected of me from, you know, interviews for my course. I did a lot better. There was 2 parts to it. One part was an essay. The other part was a sort of just an interview, I suppose, and they gave me some feedback at the end. And the pass mark, to be considered for an offer, you needed 100 points out of 126. I got 99. Okay, so I felt a little hard done by there, but you know what, that's life. Some people have to lose out. They have to set the grade boundary somewhere, and consequently there's going to be those people that are quite close and don't quite make it. Leeds University, I went again. I didn't get an offer. So I don't think interviews were really my strong point when I was 17 years of age. I don't think that you have to be too clever to work that out. But anyway, on results day, the day that I got my A-level results, I must have come close, because they called me up and they said, do you know what, you did quite well at your interview, just not quite well enough to get an offer this year, but if you want, you can come next year and we'll give you an offer. You can come along, and if someone drops out this year, you have to come very short notice, but if they don't, then you can come next year. It's all sorted, it's all ready to go. So you can imagine this was amazing news. I was absolutely thrilled, took all the pressure off me. I didn't have to do any more studying over the course of the next year, and I could just go to university, and that would be wonderful. So that was really good. Yeah, I was definitely really happy. I didn't really know what to expect about Leeds. It could have been really good, it could have been really, really, really bad, and I would have just had to go there anyway. Thankfully, when I went there, I didn't really know what to expect. When you go to university for the first time, you set out, you're a certain sort of person, but really you realize that you've only really lived in a bubble for most of your life, or at least I had anyway, before I kind of got out there and saw the bigger world. When I came there, I met lots of people from all over the country, different parts of England, different parts of the world, people that I never would have ever met otherwise, and I thought, wow, the world is a lot more complex than I previously thought it to be. For me, that was an eye-opening experience. That was, amazing. That was incredible. It was 110% worthwhile for me to go to university. The reason why, and I would encourage anybody to do so, it's definitely a completely life-changing experience. Completely changes your perception and understanding of the world. Teaches you to critically think about information on another level that you wouldn't necessarily come across should you not, I speak for me personally, the world's a big place, everybody's different, and yeah, certainly it completely changed my mindset, we'll say, 100%, and I think it was completely worth it. The reason that I liked Leeds in particular, obviously it's got a good nightlife, if that's your thing. I'm a little bit old for that now, but I still go out the odd time, have a drink here and there, but definitely not to the extent that I once did. Particularly for me, coming from Belfast. Belfast was my local town when I was growing up. Belfast is quite a small town, not necessarily somewhere that there's lots of very good nightlife in my opinion. Yeah, there's bars, things like that. They close quite early. They actually close at 1:30 in the morning, which is not the time you want to be ending your night out. It's a little premature for me. Half the time they close, and the bar, the dance floor and the bar is still packed. Different story in England. You can stay out to whatever time you want. So anybody from Northern Ireland, definitely worth thinking about coming over here for that reason alone. I think as well as that, it's a big city. I mean, you've got 65,000 other students. That's, let's say 65,000 more people that you could be friends with, because you've all got a lot in common. You're all of the same age. There's so many things to do, You've got Headingley Cricket Ground, if that's your thing. You've got lots of nice little restaurants, cafes. It's kind of an indie city. It's a little bit bohemian in some parts of it. Because of that, there's lots to explore, and I suppose it's interesting. It's indie, It's not really your run-of-the-mill kind of red brick industrial town where there is not really much that kind of culture. I would definitely put it down as a city where there's lots of different restaurants, diversity, things of that, which is an amazing experience. Opens your eyes, definitely. Makes you a lot more kind of worldly, I suppose, cultured in that respect, which I think is an incredible thing to be able to say. It's quite a big city, so I thought, okay, there's lots of people, lots more people to meet, lots more things to do, things like that. Big student population, like I say. I think as well from the point of view of those who are not necessarily inclined to be, I suppose, into nightlife and things like that, because the university itself, I think the University of Leeds is maybe 35,000 students, something like that. There are other universities which are smaller, but that's the main one. Because it's so big, it's one of the biggest in the country, plenty of societies, socks, things like that to get into. I had the absolute time of my life, I really did. It's absolutely wonderful. I still live here, it's 10 years later, so it can't have been that bad, do you know what I mean? I went to live in Sheffield for a year, and that was about as far away as I ever made it, because I came straight back because I still had friends here. I certainly don't have any plans to leave in the near future. If anybody's watching this is thinking about going to Leeds University, I'd put my hand on my heart and recommend it to you. I had an absolute whale of time, and I think if I could go back and do everything all over again, I 100% would. So anyway, I hope you found this video interesting. It's mainly just to kind of talk a little bit about Leeds University. You know, if anybody's out there, they're thinking of going to, why I enjoyed it so much. It was a huge part of my life. I wound up spending 5 years there, you know, quite something. I've made friends that I would like to hope that we're going to be friends, you know, continue to be friends for the rest of our lives. You know, I feel very lucky in that respect, and really, I really just had such a smashing time. I just wanted to share it with everybody. Cheers for listening. This is Zero to Hero BTC, over and out. See you later.